graduated college. This was about 3.5 years ago. I just graduated and I was partying pretty hard and trying to figure out what to do with my life and where to go, and that transitional period that people get stuck in. And for some reason, I was being tested, I guess, would be the best way to put it, because I lost about 9 friends in about 18 months, and just one after another. I lost friends to suicide, homicide, freak accidents. I mean, it was just one after another, and I was like, I don't know if I can stand any more of this. But because of it, I started getting into drugs. I just, felt like a huge hole inside of me, and, cliche that you're trying to fill that hole. And so I was already, kind of a drunk from college, and I just started getting into more hardcore stuff, and eventually made my way into, I did meth a couple of times, which screwed me up, and then I started getting into coke. I was dating a girl at the time who, had access to it, so it was easy to get, and started doing it a bunch fairly regularly. Turned into, a little, became a little bit more, and then, it just ballooned into like a hardcore habit. But I remember just one night, I was feeling just hardcore, pain and all kinds of stuff from all these friends that I'd lost, and decided to put down a line and get spun out and see, and just get crazy for the night. I put down this line and snorted it as quick as I could. It was huge. It was the biggest, it was the most amount of drugs I've ever done at once. And the next thing I remember is being thrust, kind of pulled forth into, it felt like through really thick, oily water or something, into another dimension, technically, I guess you could put it, another plane of existence. And a lot of things went through my head, but mainly was, what's happening to me. I remember my first thoughts being, what's happening to me, and then immediately after that thinking, why won't this stop? Why won't this stop? It was feelings of guilt and remorse, and like the worst feelings you've ever felt inside of you, pity and anguish and anger and all these things. And I feel like I was put into some sort of hell. I mean, if it was a purgatory, great, but it felt like hell in a way that pitchforks and fire would never affect me the way that this did. This was waves and waves of guilt and hate and remorse just flowing through me in a way that it crippled me in a sense. And at the same time, I was being shown just slides and clips of things that had happened in my life. Every little thing that I said to somebody that hurt their feelings, that affected them in any way. Every time that I broke a girl's heart, I saw. Every time that my heart was broken, all these things were shown to me, and how we affect everybody with our words, no matter how microscopic they are, just with the tiniest little things, gestures, actions that I did, things I did in classes, things that I probably should have been arrested for. But I mean, it was seriously the most intense feelings of just horrible like guilt, and it was like the hole was just caving in inside of me even more. The images that are still in my brain, it was, it's terrifying. Anyone who's ever been there, and I don't think that everybody is totally conscious of what was happening. I think the drugs might have had something to do with how conscious I was of what was happening, because I might have been fired up and, from the cocaine or whatever. But yeah, it was definitely very vivid. As soon as I swear I couldn't take it any longer, and it was lasting for what seemed like years, I saw this dark figure lean over me, and then I felt it press against my face, and I felt pressure, and it felt like a breath being blown into me really hard, to the point where my lungs were kind of inflated. And at the same time is when I woke up, and I was being shocked at this point, and I was intubated. They were doing compressions, and so I woke up and I saw this, and then I immediately passed out again, but I was conscious at this point. I was technically dead for 4 minutes, but it was an eternity. It never ended. Like, that 4 minutes literally lasted longer than anybody's lifetimes times a million. And I can't even explain that in a way that it would make sense in time space, but it was literally, must have been a fourth dimension that I was in, because time didn't matter anymore. And then when I finally came to about 8 or 9 hours later, they told me that I died for 4 minutes, and I was like, in my mind immediately I thought, was that a dream? You know, like, I mean, that could have easily just been my brain releasing DHT, which is the chemical it releases when you die, and it technically makes you trip. But at the same time, I feel like there was just too much solidity to where I was, that it was like I wasn't the only one that had ever been there. I felt like I was, you know, I was blown into, and then I came back too. Even then I didn't want to tell my girlfriend or my mom about it. I just thought they'd think I was crazy if I told them that I'd like gone to another dimension. I mean, someone told me that before this, I would have thought they were crazy too. It caused me to do, you know, 180 with everything. I cleaned up my act. I stopped doing drugs and drinking, and just, you know, realized that, you know, what brought me back. I mean, it felt like, you know, the breath of God or something. What brought me back was something that wanted me here so bad that it made me want to be here, and made me realize that I was really important, and that I was here for a reason. And so, you know, I felt like, yeah, my time wasn't up yet. There was something else I had to do, and so I was saved from the afterlife and brought back, which I feel like some people are, and then other people aren't as lucky. That's what happened to me when I died. My name is Grassmeyer, and I'm back from the dead.